Hey guys, it's Tara. Welcome back to another episode of Bake In. Today we're going to be making one of my favorite childhood cookies, an oatmeal chocolate chunk cookie. No raisins here, no tricks, just the ultimate delicious, gooey oatmeal chocolate chip cookie. Let's get started. Alright, so first up we're going to mix the dry ingredients together, which are quite simple. Just a simple mixture of plain all-purpose flour, some oats, but we're using the large flake oats, like the old-fashioned oats. You don't want to use those quick cook oats. I want a nice chew of oatmeal in my cookie, so that's why I like to use these ones. It's an oatmeal cookie after all. You need the real oats. And then we've got baking powder, baking soda, a little bit of salt, some cinnamon. I like a little bit of cinnamon and spice in my oatmeal cookie. If you don't, you can completely omit it. If you want any other spices, feel free to add them. Some allspice, nutmeg, cinnamon, it's all good in it. And the secret ingredient is cornstarch. So what cornstarch does in cookies is makes them a little bit chewier than they already are, which is great. And then we're just gonna give this a nice little whisk. Perfect. And then we just set this aside. All right, so now that the dry ingredients are completely mixed, let's move on to the wet ingredients. So for that, a good cookie always needs butter. Lots of delicious butter. So I've got some softened butter here, which is at room temperature, brown sugar, which will give it that ultimate chew in a cookie, and some white sugar. So I'm just using a wooden spoon. You just don't want to incorporate too much air into it. You want it to be creamy, but not fluffy. So just go with that. So I'm just first incorporating and kind of mushing the butter into that. All right, cool guys, change mine. I'm actually going to use a hand mixer. Be right back. Sorry about that. Didn't realize how much I actually had in the bowl. And it was really shaking a lot, so I'm going to use the hand mixer to just kind of mix it all together. It was much easier than doing it by hand, but if you want to do it by hand and get that elbow grease in, go for it. I think maybe I'm just being a bit lazy, but hey ho. So I'm going to scrape the bowl, make sure it's all mixed in. Looks lovely. So you'll see I didn't mix it too much because I don't want to aerate it, just to combine it so it's a bit lighter in color. That's about it. All right, now so to this, we're going to add eggs. So one egg, one whole egg goes right in, and also one egg yolk. So one egg yolk is just a little bit of extra fat in the cookie. Fat is flavor and delicious, and we don't want to have too much gluten development. We just want more fat in the cookie. Mix that in. Cool, that's combined. And then some vanilla essence. Woo! I always forget which way to turn it off. So now that the wet ingredients are all done, the dry ingredients all done, we are going to combine the two. So I'm going to use a spatula to combine them because I don't want to overwork the cookie dough. But first I'm going to scrape the bowl again. And you want to use a nice big bowl for this. If you have space to move around and you're not worried about anything, in goes the flour mixture. And obviously I'm going to make a mess and spill flour everywhere because that's who I am apparently. So you could use a mixer again for this. A stand mixer works great with a paddle attachment. I just know that as soon as I put the whisk attachments in, I'm gonna have flour everywhere. And to be honest, way back when all our grandparents and things were making cookies and biscuits and whatnot, they didn't have all these cool gadgets that we have, and they used the elbow grease. And they basically are the pioneers of all these really delicious baked goods that we all love. So that's that. Cool. So now here comes the best part. Chocolate. For the cookies, we chop up a bar of chocolate so we get nice pools of chocolate in the cookie. Give that a pour in. And you can see I've even got like the shavings of the chocolate from the board when I was cutting it, and that's just gonna scatter throughout the cookie as well to give you even more little bits of chocolate. As a kid, I never used to eat chocolate chip cookies. My sister used to make them for me a lot. I always used to request a cookie without maybe one or two chocolate chips in it because I just did not like chocolate as a kid. I don't know why. I mean, I still do like plain old chocolate chip cookies, but this is an oatmeal chocolate chunk cookie. It's different. So you can add as much chocolate as you want, up to about 500 grams for this recipe. Your call, your sweet tooth. Oh, I'm a bit out of breath, shouldn't be, but it's because I'm so short. You know, you obviously have to taste your cookie dough. I always feel that you can tell something is going to taste good when it bakes, when the raw dough tastes good. Like cake batter tastes delicious, cake tastes delicious, cookie dough tastes delicious, cookies taste delicious. Don't know what it is, but it's true. Okay, so what we're gonna do is now make these into balls. So I actually broke my cookie scoop, annoyingly, but I'm gonna make these into about 60-gram balls. Yeah, I just wanted a bit of a bigger cookie, so I got 20 cookies out of this batch, but if you want smaller cookies, you can do 40 grams or 30 grams. Your call. You can even do little minis to have on Sundays and stuff. But this is a really nice size because you can use it for ice cream sandwiches too, or just a really big cookie. Awesome. So now that they're here, we want to chill them for about 30 minutes. What that will do is it'll hydrate the flour a little bit. It'll help them rise a bit more so they're not so flat, and it'll cool that butter down again so everything's at the same temperature when they bake. That's what we want. It smells so good in here already, and they're not even in the oven. Alright guys, so the cookies are out of the oven. And what we're going to do now is get them on another tray to put in the oven. And the reason is because I'm not going to bake all these cookies off at once. I'm only going to do 6 at a time so that they have room to spread out in the oven. And the tray itself is cold, and I don't want to put a cold tray in the oven, so I'm using a new tray. And the best part about making cookies is that these balls now, you can just pop them into a Ziploc bag or something and place them in the freezer, and that way you can bake 1 cookie at a time, 2 cookies at a time, whenever you just get that craving for a cookie, which is what I'm probably going to do, because when that cookie craving hits, it's nice to have it on hand. So oven's preheated to 160 degrees, and we're going to bake them for about 12 to 16 minutes until the edges are nice and golden brown and the center is just caramelized and delicious. Yay! Alright, the cookies are done and looking, oh wow, they look amazing. Oh, I'm so happy with these. Can you see how big they are? Oh, I squished one. Alright, so the edges are still really nice and golden. The centers are just a little bit gooey. They're going to continue to cook on the tray because I'm going to let them sit for a few minutes. But while they're warm, I like to sprinkle some Maldon salt on them. I like that sweet and salty balance with cookies. If you don't like it, don't worry about it. Not a must-do, it's just a personal preference. For me, it just kind of brings out the sweetness of it, and it just adds that contrast. Oh, it's just so good. I'm so excited. I don't actually want to wait for these to cool down, but you have to. Can you see how big they are? They're so big. I can't wait. Alright, so the cookies have been sitting on the tray for about 5 minutes to cool down. So they are ready to transfer onto a cooling rack. I'm so excited to eat these. I cannot wait. These would be even delicious if you want to do like an oatmeal cream pie cookie where you put like some icing in the middle. I mean, you can do whatever you want really. But for me, just a cookie. It's the perfect treat. Wow. Yummy. It smells delicious. All right, so let these cool and then we're going to break them and eat them. I present to you my stack of beautiful oatmeal chocolate chunk cookies. They're still a bit warm from the oven and they're almost the size of my face. Still warm, so if I break this open, you guys will see it just goes. I'm so lucky that I get first dibs on these. A warm cookie from the oven is the best treat. So I got a piece of the corner, which was really, really crunchy and nice. I want to get a piece of the center, which is really nice and chewy. There's so much chocolate, I don't know which one to take. Delicious. Chewy, a bit of salt, chocolatey. Really nice chocolate at that, because I picked the chocolate I wanted to use by chopping it up and get chocolate chunks and nice pools of chocolate. Look at that. It's like melty deliciousness. Crispy around the edges, chewy in the center. These are a winner. Thanks for checking out another episode of Bake In. Stay tuned to next week's episode and we'll make something delicious again. Until then, I'll be eating my weight in oatmeal chocolate chip cookies.